One of our councils has denied it's putting pressure on councillors to approve plans for solar power before the government subsidy is cut in April. Peterborough City Council wants to build 3 solar farms on 900 acres of agricultural land it owns in the east of the city. It would provide enough energy for 24,000 homes and generate around £5 million a year for the council. But one of the tenant farmers has criticised the plans.
20% of the food for this country, so we're a net importer of food. Every acre taken out is an acre more we've got import, which is an acre less to feed the starving of the world, you could say.
Well, joining me now live from Peterborough is the leader of the City Council, Cereste. This is prime agricultural land. There has to be surely cheaper derelict land that you could use first.
Well, we could if we had it, but we don't, and it happens to be land that we own. And of course, the most important thing is that being able to have land that has a grid connection. And that's why we did the feasibility study, was to make sure that that land could be used and we could connect into the grid, and that's the most important thing.
Well, the government subsidy is due to be cut at the end of March. Are you trying to push these plans through?
No, not at all. In fact, all of our work has been based on actually not getting the maximum subsidy. It's all our numbers are based on getting the lower tariff anyway. So, and no, we're not trying to push it through at all.
You say you're not trying to push it through, but actually we've had a look at an email this morning that was sent out by a council official last week that actually states that the council is under, and I quote, significant pressure to ensure that the application is put in by the application meeting in March.
Well, I mean, I've seen the email. You're absolutely right. It was an administrative error. But the truth, of course, is that we've extended the consultation to twice what it ought to be. So the reality of it is that although the email may say that, that's not what is really happening. So when clearly, if you look at what the consultation date is, you'll see that it's been extended far beyond the statutory minimum. So actually, it proves that that's not right.
Now, you mentioned, just to go back to a point there, that you weren't too bothered, I suppose, that the subsidy is being cut. But actually, over a number of years, surely this amounts to millions of pounds.
No, that's not right. You know, we did our calculations always based on, if we're going to go technical, 1.5 rocks. Now, clearly, if we could get the application in place before then, we may get a little bit more, but that was never the objective. The objective was always to base our numbers on 1.5 rocks, and that's what we've based them on. And once you're in and you've signed the contract with government, that's what you get. You get the 1.5 rocks for the lifetime of the project.
Councillor Cereste, thank you for joining me. A week after a warning that our high streets are under threat, one of the region's discount chains has announced plans for expansion. QD currently has 22 stores in the east of England. It's just bought the chain Thingy Bob's, which has 10 stores across Suffolk. It means the QD group will employ just under 1,000 people. Well, Nikki Fox is at its depot in Snetterton in Norfolk for us now. Nikki.
This distribution centre was built 11 years ago, and since then the number of shops that they supply has almost doubled. Behind me, staff are packing boxes which travel as far as Wrexham and Yorkshire to get to their destination. Now let's just move through here and go into the actual warehouse where the boxes are stored. 64 staff work here, and last Christmas sales were up by 8.2%. Now QD isn't the only discount chain doing well this year. Aldi's market share grew by 30.1%, Lidl's rose by 10.8%, and Iceland's also rose by 9.7%. With me is QD's Group Managing Director, Justin Farrington-Smith. Hello, tell me about this takeover.
Well, it's not so much a takeover as a getting together of two great businesses. Thingy Bobs have been around for 25 years in East Anglia, so have QD, and we can come together and share the values that we have, maximise the benefits of a distribution centre like this, and get the most from our supply base.
Some people might not be too surprised that a discount chain like yourselves is doing well at a time like this.
I think we're doing well because we're offering great value. You know, QD's been around for a very long time and is well known for offering value to the consumer, but you've got to offer fantastic products, at great prices, and you want consumers that come back and products that don't.
Some people might say, is there a danger in expanding too quickly at a time like this?
Well, I think you've got to take any expansion carefully. Clearly, we've got capacity benefits here. We own the site next door where we can expand further if we want, but we've got a business model that says what we want to put through this site and will.
Mr Farrington-Smith, thanks very much for joining us. The takeover should be completed within the next 14 days. There'll be more on Look East tonight.
Nikki, thank you. Work is underway to boost standards at primary schools in Suffolk. Last month, the county came third from the bottom in National League tables. One head teacher says it's been difficult to find the right calibre of teachers for 10 to 11-year-olds.
Division and multiplication today for years 5 and 6 at Willows Primary School in Ipswich.
You look for 25 and then you add 0.
I'm really good except for the division. Yeah.
I'm exactly the same, it's just a division, it's just a little bit tricky really.
You're not giving these children the answers to these problems on a plate, are you? Can you explain why?
Without giving answers, I want the children to discover the answers on the basis that discovery is an ownership of the answer as opposed to just being given it.
More than half the pupils here get free school meals. Because of deprivation, the school gets extra money, some of it recently spent on new computers. Here, driving up expectations is the priority.
We're concentrating very much on feedback, on marking and on the children knowing what their next steps are. They have their next step folders and the children talk to the teachers at least twice a term about what their next steps are.